Hey there, Miles. So you genuinely the first one this time? No point of contention. 27. Someone put their Sharpie in the wrong place. Yeah, there we go. Hey, how's the moth? Well, I guess we're sort of going to wonder what's going on with this one. I'm going to suspect corrosion on a sensor or something like that. 327. Take the board out. No point really messing around with it. Just get straight to the point, get the board out, and have a look at it. It could also be trackpad or battery related, but more than likely, given the age and type of machine, there's probably a smattering of corrosion somewhere. I mean, there might not be, and I'll be happy to be wrong, I think. Depends if I can still fix it, because I do want to fix it. I don't like it when I can't fix a machine. While the slight hurt of the ego is bad enough, it's the real hurt of the lack of income because of not being able to fix it. That's the bit that hurts the most. Hey Philip, Dennis, Kenny, hey Rob, nice to see you here Rob. Nick, Travis. Come on, it's all rather tight in here. We seem to be missing a screw. Oh no, we're not. No, it's me who is missing the screw, it would seem. Travis, honestly, if I ever meet you, I'll probably buy you a beer and then throw it in your face. For all the times you have taunted with that statement. Of course, you've been wrong more times than not, so I guess that's some satisfaction. Hey, Windows. Right, gotta get that itty bitty little heatsink screw out of here without damaging the heatsinks. Okie dokie. And yes, according to the title, I am now considering these to be classic MacBooks. They have somewhat fallen out of being modern MacBooks now. Particularly that there's already 2, maybe 3 generations. Okay, yeah, right by the RTC there's a good chunk of corrosion, and by the I think it's the PCH clock crystal. Yeah, they'll completely mess it up. And this is interesting. They've got a new form of a sticker here by the looks of it. But anyway, it's a 1.8 gig, 8 gigabyte RAM, so it's a board worth repairing. Hey Beta Tech, welcome back. Okay, so yeah, that's it's amazing it even tries to run. Funnily enough, for a while we used to see corrosion around this section here as a fairly standard signature type fault, and then it didn't really show up too much anymore. There was a bit of a mystery one, and of course we had the backlight one being fairly popular. There's a lot of trash in this particular machine. It's definitely going to want an ultrasonic clean. I don't know what all these things are, but it terrifies me. But yeah, the whole clock circuit RTC section being corroded, it kind of faded out of existence for a bit there. So it's interesting to see it come back. And this one here, this is probably what's causing the actual instability and crashing. So we'll clear up that whole section. And I think that might be... Oh, wow. Okay, this one is definitely different. Now, that's going to upset the RAM a fair bit. This is sort of like a shotgun of corrosion everywhere. Let's check the other side and make sure it's not too common. Oh, wow. Yeah, up here. That's going to need replacing. That's going to be fun because we've got the SD slot there. But we have to replace it. 342 is okay. There's all sorts of trash and junk. So hopefully this will be predominantly a janitorial job. Do you have Maine Coons in Australia? Yes, we do. I don't have any, obviously, but yes, we certainly do have them. Yeah, that's going to need some solid rescuing. I'm just going to put some 80/20 on it. Let's see if I can wash away the worst. Of course, I don't know actually what's caused this yet. I probably won't know until I hit it with the hot air, and then once the hot air is on it, it'll probably let me know. It's not overly water soluble. Alright, let's go from there. Hey Jaden, welcome. I did get my lifeboat rescue tool today. It's very nice to see it turn up in the mail. Yeah, we've got a lot of corrosion spaining out all over here too, so we'll have to scratch that back. So far I've been lucky though with the 2016 series. Most of the time I can recover, repair the boards. Oh, I do not need to take on any more kitty cats right now. I have quite a number. Quite a number indeed at the moment. I mean, it's already costing me an absolute fortune each month to feed all the rescues. I'd be a hell of a lot richer if it wasn't for what we do with the rescue kitties. Hell of a lot richer. But we do it. Because no one else is going to do it, so we'll do it. Oh, this corrosion really got under the board. And you can see the dimpled effect it's caused there. Gotta clean all the corrosion. Hey Costas and Tony. I do love rescue kitties, yes, but I do love money too. But see, the thing is, if I don't have enough money, I can't rescue the kitties. So I've got to make sure I deal with both. Wow, this is... whatever this is has been around for a while, because it's wicked itself pretty much every little nook and cranny on that plane. That's a lot of corrosion. Hey there, Keith. That's right, Miles, with the special diets or special care or anything like that. I mean, obviously with Micro with his insulin situation or with diabetes. Fortunately, now that I've got the little freezer, or not freezer, but the little cold box, that certainly has helped reduce our running cost. You know, our monthly sort of costs for Micro. Not that we wouldn't pay, but it's, you know, if you can save some money, you can save some money. It's great. So now at least a prescription will last me 4 to 6 months, whereas before it was barely 2 months before I'd have to get another prescription. That resistor's a bit dodgy. That is, that's quite a mess. Hey, Patrick Mill. That is a really big mess. Like I said, it is a 1.8 gigahertz, 8 gigabyte RAM one, so it is worth doing it as a repair. This trace has actually, I'm fairly sure that's disconnected, and if it hasn't, it's not far off. It's not far off. It is connected, but any day now that's going to decide, it's going to wake up one day and say, no, you know what, I've had enough of you, MacBook. I hereby declare that I am no longer connected. So we'll just have to scratch back a bit more copper here, and then we can run a, we can either do a blob or we can do a itty bitty little wire. Might be able to do an itty bitty wire. Makes you rather amazed that these things even ran. Which is why I tend to mock people who go on about how intolerant MacBooks are to liquid damage. It's like, it's not really a matter of it being a MacBook or anything for that matter, it's just like humans. You can hit them in the right place and they're dead, or you can bash on them in the wrong place and they'll just keep on taking hits. all about where and how. Hey there, James. Okay, that's all padded up. Get a replacement one on there. Once again, we got to go through the process of attempting to find a board that has one of those chips on it. I find it difficult to believe that I have actually taken so many of these clock chips. That one's in amazingly good condition. Amazingly good. In spite of the horrible burnt hair next to it. Well, I gotta say, I was expecting some sort of corrosion on a sensor. Instead, I ended up with corrosion on a lot of other stuff instead. But I'm happy to see it. It does mean I can repair it, or at least I hope I can. There we go. Hey, Andrew Smith. Well, I don't know if you're my biggest fan from India. You're probably going to have to hold a competition to see who's the biggest fan in India. I mean, maybe you're up there in the high runners, but I think it's fair that there should be a proper competition and see just how far your fandom is developed. Whether you truly are the biggest fan. Or maybe there's someone out there who would go to even more devoted levels. That would make an interesting competition. Should do that for Lewis Rossman too. Have a Lewis Rossman greatest fan competition. I'm sure he'd be on board with that. He'd love that. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol. Sorry to ruin that one on you. I probably go through more IPA than I do ethanol. I do use ethanol with my work, but I tend to use it more as a cleanup agent for my workbench. Yeah, I think we should have a biggest fan contest for Lewis. And just see what sort of extreme lengths people go to prove that they are the biggest fan. I mean, some people may misconstrue the competition and think that it's actually the biggest loser, but no, it's going to be a biggest fan. I know I'm not the biggest fan of Lewis. I would lose that competition in the first round easily. I'd sooner throw myself in front of a bullet for Paul S. than I would Lewis, because you know Paul S. is actually he contributes to the community. He's a smart fellow. He solves a lot of problems. Yeah, I'm down for Paul S. Hey, Sticks. Hey, Greg. Alright, so that looks like our RTC section might be okay now. I say might be okay because we just don't know. Let's see, now we've got to go to this clock section, and I'm just going to do a complete wipe of that section. There's almost no point in me trying to partially replace bits. Just do the lot. Hey Kristen, yeah, I have to get some jobs done because tomorrow is the power switch over, for the solar, and subsequently we're going to be with no power for several hours, and that's really going to hurt my productivity. Hey Eric Denya, B-Dog. Miles is more of a fan of Tim than Lewis, what he's achieved in such a short amount of time. Yeah, that, I don't want to say that kid, but you got to understand, I knew him from when he was 16. I don't see him as a kid anymore, but I do see him as young, as in he's young and he's driven, and he gets stuff done. And I think that's the big thing. Tim gets stuff done. And if you try to tell him that, nah mate, what's the point of that? Why are you bothering with that? He'll just ignore you and still get on with it, and he'll prove you wrong. He loves collecting the scalps of naysayers. Hey Patrick, thank you for the 4. Is that for coffee, is it? Interestingly, I've switched to having tea after dinner now. Like, just black tea. Well, when I say black tea, I mean tea but with sugar and milk still. But thank you for that, Patrick. Michael, bonjour, ça va? Let's scratch this all up. Let's waste our precious, expensive soldering iron tip. It's okay. It's they're big fat chisel tips. You're allowed to abuse them. If people are wondering, please don't think that I'm actually legitimately being harsh on Lewis. Lewis does actually have a tremendous level of respect from me. Not that he needs it. If I tried to tell him that, he'd probably just tell me to go F off. And I guess that's I respect him for that too. Lewis was definitely a key person in getting things moving on a wider scale. I mean, there was a lot of us that were already doing board repairs all over the place, but Lewis became a bit of a flag bearer, a figurehead kind of personality that we could all gather under and share our interesting stories. Late in the proceedings, could you run a power generator? That would be a problem to patch in because they need the entire network, the entire household power system shut down while they're doing what they're doing. What I could do, or what I was thinking of doing, but it's probably a bit late now because it's only going to be for 4 hours, or maybe 6, maybe 8. Is I could just get one of those portable power stations, and that would be enough to run the router. More than anything, that's what I really want. I want the router running because my phone, my laptops, things like that, I can run them off battery, go charge them in the car or whatever. But the router, that's the thing that needs to be powered. So I've got a couple of 12 volt, 7 amp hour SLA batteries, and I'm hoping I can just power the router directly off those without anything else. And like I said, there was a lot of people doing a lot of work before and during, Lewis doing all his stuff. Yeah, so definitely, it was just sort of everything came together very nicely. And as funny as it sounds, Lewis kind of added or provided a sense of legitimacy for MacBook repairs. And then of course like Jester Jones with iPhones and SDS Telecom, Chris Long. Obviously there was a lot of people doing that kind of stuff, and so I don't want to list off too many names simply because I feel like there's many people out there who are quietly going about their business, and they feel like they were doing just as much as everyone else, but of course they weren't in the public limelight as much. But that doesn't take away from the value of what they were doing. Moron. Yep, I'm lazy. Yeah, Ben Wilson, that's what I'm thinking of. Of course, I won't even bother. I'll just go to wait for the power to be shut down. I could just simply put it on a diode. And so while power is applied, the diode blocks the battery, and then as soon as power is lost, the diode will flow. Oh, almost forgot about that one. But like I said, it's really only going to be for the however long it takes tomorrow for them to do what they got to do. That is one messed up cap. This board's definitely going to be wanting an ultrasonic clean, that's for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Miles. That's why I'm thinking it's definitely going to want to be ultrasonic clean, because who knows what crept under there. Teresa, the only pop will be Travis's head getting popped by me. Hopefully we can take it to the homeopathic level here and just create a tincture of corrosion. And hopefully it won't take the memory from the memory. Yeah. Anyone got recommendations for cheap PCB safe adhesives to hold big parts and stop them vibrating? Let's see, if Jason from Unofficial Mac was here, he might be able to give you some advice, as I know he knows a few. Otherwise, I would just thought Neutral Cure RTV. Yeah, you get that Dow Corning one that they use for circuit boards. I'd imagine that should work, surely. Travis only does it because it gets him attention. if I ignored him, he would probably just regress back to being a normal commenter. But when we get attention from our bad behaviour, we continue to pursue that behaviour. Hoklu's not too bad, but it's probably not... It's a little hard to use Hoklu in the sense of professionally. It's like, so what's this substance on the board? And you're, oh, that's Hoklu, and they're going to go, I think we might change to a different provider. Whereas if you say, oh, that's Dow Corning 3080 RTC or RTV or whatever it is, they'll go, oh, marvellous, sure, yes, perfect, carry on. It depends on what Hoklu you get to. Some of them are very low temperature sort of ones, others are quite a bit higher temperature. Hey Mohammed, good evening. Probably could have done with a little more flux under there. Man, that was really trying to tombstone on me. That's an ant head. I recognise that head anywhere. I don't know if you can see it or not, probably a bit dark. Yeah, you can see the eyes there and there, the mandibles up there. Oop. I wonder what happened to him. He got decapitated. Hey Jason, was just talking about you. In a good way. What the hell is that? Honestly, if I was out in the field... Oh crikey, I've lost it now. Oh no, there it is. If I was out on the field, my first impression of that would be that is some kind of garnet. I wonder if it is garnet. Probably not. It's just got... Can't really tell. It just sort of looks like it's slightly transparent with a slightest reddish tone. And the way it's fractured and everything. Damn it, now I really have lost it. No, I haven't. I got it back. Yeah, I'd almost say that was garnet. Jason, I was talking about you. With regards to silicone adhesives and stuff. I'm just going to wash this down. All this residue can probably mess up the startup. Personally, I prefer silicones over epoxies for a lot of these jobs, mostly because epoxy can be a bit of a pain to remove later if you have to, or rework through. Whereas silicone, you can sort of, you know, peel it off, or you know, you can deal with it a little better than you can epoxy. Obviously this board is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner, but I just want to... Oh, that's right, we've got that controller on the other side that we've got to replace yet. There we go, we've got this here to deal with. That's going to be fun. We've got a cap that likes to pop, we've got an SD slot that likes to melt, and we've got a speaker connector that likes to melt. Basically everything's in the way. Nothing wrong with the SMC this time. Well, better not be. In no mood for that. I did one last night. That was actually more stuck down by the vacuum pull from the massive bottom plate there. It actually melted fairly quickly, I think. Yeah, it was just a case of, when you've got those large ground planes, it can be quite difficult to lift them up. Hey Paul Marrow, how's it going there? Have you been around recently, or have I just not been noticing? This kind of reminds me of a Wi-Fi chip on the iPhones. You've been around chatting. I apologise for not being more observant. I'm just going around and puffing up these pads a bit. Yeah, basically giving them solder Botox. Actually seeing them form those little tips like that, it reminds me of that guy, Tesla, who would do reballing manually with an old chisel soldering iron. But this is back in, it's got to be 7 or so years ago at least. I don't think the iPhone 4 was even out at the time. I think we had the 3GS and that was it. Yeah, he had a video on YouTube, I think it was YouTube, of him showing how to reball a chip if you didn't have balls or a stencil. And yeah, he just put little pyramids on the little Hershey Kisses on the chip, and then eventually, he hit it with the hot air, I think. I mean, back then, having hot air was still pretty unusual. Tesla, he was on GSM phones or whatever it was. Anyway, I just remember being quite impressed with his ability to make the best of a situation, and was very resourceful like that. I think it might have been he was reballing it can't have been a TriStar, but yeah, something similar to that. We didn't melt we did get a little bit of going on there, but not too bad. That's pretty tolerable in all honesty. No meltage, no breakage. I'm pretty happy with that. To be fair, I don't really know if that is the controller chip for the SD card. It's probably not. It's probably Thunderbolt or something. It's so rare to deal with that chip. Where are we? U4500. SD controller. Okay, so it is for the SD card. Fair enough. Shove everything out of the way because that's the standard workbench technique. If you need more room on your workbench, you just do that. I'm just going to put these little parts. Come here, you. I collect almost all the parts from my jobs now. I say almost because every now and then there's a few snafus and the parts go missing. Yeah, I do wish to go back to Fluxbox, but I'm going to have to find an alternative that works with Wayland. Because as much as I don't really care about Wayland, I am more than content with X. It seems to be that they're just wanting, for whatever reason, to go with Wayland. So it's like, fine, just make things work. But it is frustrating when your favorite window manager starts misbehaving, and I doubt anyone's going to fix that up because it hasn't been updated in eons. So basically it didn't need to be updated. Just because the software hasn't had an update in a long time doesn't mean it's not maintained as such. It's just we have reached a stable point. What am I missing? Better put an SD card in there to make sure that works. Alright, let's get the MagSafe. Helps if I turn that on. Power on. Green light. No fan spin. 222 milliamps and no fan spin. 500 milliamps. What's going on here? 900. Is the keyboard holding this back? Well, it would appear I'm charging. But not much else. Oh, we definitely didn't have power up at all. So we're charging, but nothing else. Fantastic. You know, I shouldn't have been so cocky just putting the board in. I should have tested to see it actually ran first. Universe is always going to teach me that kind of lesson every single day. Anytime that I get presumptuous and just sort of think, yeah, we'll just stick it in and everything will be good. So when the universe turns around and says, not so fast, Mr. Daniels. You tried to get things done without paying the toll. So now it's going to cost you double. I got Trit, some Micro Mage, that creature. Alright, see what's going on then. It's probably RTC related, but let's see what's going on. Is Lewis here again? Hello Lewis, if you are actually here. Okay, 25 milliamp. Let's bring up the voltage. Let's see what our fundamentals are. 342 is okay. 8.6, we're good. Let's see if we've got SMC reset, mate. No, 8.6, we must be up and running there. We've got PM Sleep S4L. We've got a fuzzy tip. Ach, niemand. Okay, we do not have a PM Sleep S4L. Yes, that's right, Mr. Miser. It was indeed my punishment for letting my guard down. Alright, let's see if we've got 3v3 RTC. Given that we had so much damage around there, it's entirely plausible that we do not have an appropriate 3v3 RTC. We do actually, that sucks. Let's see if we've got a 32 kilohertz signal coming out. We do. That's just more suckage. God damn it. No, I'll just disconnect power and have another look. VO5 seems okay. Okay, might just check the continuity on those. Christians, KDE and I don't get along. Not since the 1990s. Okay, we do have continuity there. And there. And there. Alright. Can't complain about that one. Can complain about the random bits of goop on the board. What about the RAM? Seems okay. I don't recall hearing 3 beeps coming out of the speaker, so yeah. $20 is good. $3 is good. So Lewis probably still miffed at the long screw through the SSD. What? A long screw through the SSD? I saw the hole in the main board, but what was the long screw? Yeah, maybe I messed this up. I don't know. Yeah, it's not my most common repair. In fact, I can only imagine I've done 2 or 3 and that's it. But I can't see that actually coming into play with this particular fault. Is the PCH, is the PCH okay? Now, of course, I assume the PCH must be at least some state of being okay, simply on the basis of the fact that the report that came in is that it was intermittent, whereas typically if you get a popped PCH, it's not so intermittent anymore. That actually looks okay. Oh, don't mention Arduino. Oh my god. Arduino is like a... it's like a walking frame for teenagers. It's like... you don't need it. Although it has turned more into... it seems like it's turned more into an abstraction layer now than anything else. Of course, to be fair, I don't track it that closely, so... let's see, is that fuse okay? Oh. The hole in the mainboard, someone oh, right, that explains why it was so neat. I was wondering why it was so neat. Now I get it. So they put in a third-party SSD and they wanted to retain it, so they put a hole through the board. That's some serious, yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to first turn off the board images. Pardon me. We're missing PM Sleep S4L, so we're going to go through this sequence of signals to look for. Now we know we have RTC G3 hot. We know, well, I don't know about anything beyond that. Yeah, personally for me, Arduino, it was the language. It was like, why don't you just program your AVRs in C, like it's meant to be? Like, you know, a normal person, a proper normal person. Okay, quad display. Okay. Okay, so that one we already have. We know that. Oh lord. I do hate chasing these. I might just initially start out the diode mode values since they're on the display. The HSIO kind of looked okay, but I'll have another look in a bit. I'll just check the diode values on these resistors because yeah, it may be all for naught. Let's see, so we want about 0.4-ish around here, and we do have that. Okay, 7, yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. 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 That's obviously fine because it's all the same then. With diode mode values, by the way, don't get too pedantic about the values that you see on screen versus the values that you read off your meter. So long as you're within about 20%, then that's good. Sometimes even more, hot boards versus cold boards. There's so many things that can play into it. Okay, what about intervermin? Oh yeah, intervermin we've already checked. I think we just did check that one too, yep. Although, to be fair, I'm not checking to see if there's voltage there, so I better do that. Since that is what the testing sequence is for. It's like you apply the, try to start it up and check to see if you've got voltage at those points. Okay, so let's go and try that again. 3.3, 3.12, yep, that is actually 2.9. Might be a little low on that one, but 3.3. Okay, well we've got voltages there, so 32k, we've already checked that. 3v3s5, that's our next big one. Just about the RAM. Okay, 3v3s5 we have. Power good. Yep, power goods there. 3v3 sus. That's on our bars chip. Okay, we do not have 3v3 sus, it seems. That's a little bit suspicious. Alright, so once again, the little board guide has helped. Now we've got to find out where we're getting sus from. So that's this. And I, for one, always forget where 3v3 sus comes from. What it's switched out from. Because obviously it comes from 3v3s5, and then at least I'm pretty sure it comes from 3v3s5. U7840, let's go search for that. Ugh. I really got to fix up this. The fact that I'm having to toggle is not a normal thing. There we go. Wait, what? U7840, no, that uses it. Okay, that's fine. Control, right click, and we will just go through all the instances of it. We'll get to the one where it's all the various modes, sleep mode switching. There we go, 3v3 sus switch, U8020, that's the one we're after. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Maybe because is that a little bit of corrosion I see under there? Wishful thinking, I think. Yeah, it's wishful thinking. But what we'll do, you can't see. There we go. We will check to see if we're getting voltage in, and then we'll see if we get voltage out, and we'll see if we're getting a signal to tell it to actually turn on. God damn, there's a flippin' calf or something that's hanging around my MagSafe connector like a bad smell. Oh, geez, white space limited. Yeah, the only time I ever found that to be tolerable was with Fortran. And that was it. Okay, so we got 3v3 S5. And we'll test sus enable, which is this here. And that's where the problem is. Sus enabled is not being, it's not being told to turn it on. Hey, James Loveback. Oh, Lovelock, sorry. Okay, so now we're going to find out where that comes from. Who generates it? Oh, dear God. Let it not be the CPU. I guess what made it tolerable in Fortran is the fact that Fortran was, you know, such a column-structured, strongly column-structured language, at least 77, that, yeah, it was all part of the process. But with, what do you call it? With Python, you've got a free-flowing language, sort of. But then you've got all this white space dooby-dacker. What am I even looking for here? Oh yeah, that little sucker there. I feel like I'm actually just kind of going around in a little bit of a circle here. I don't feel like I'm aiming for the right things at the moment. Fuck. My slippage across the streams, bad news. Okay, so we do have a low signal input here, which is sleep/L. Enables DC and vSense divider when sus is present. Yeah. Sus enables. No stuff. Oh, come on, what am I'm missing something obvious here, and I know it. Would someone kindly just point it out so I can stop being an idiot? If I had to take a gamble, I would consider just replacing that chip. I'm just going to see if it's shorted on the input side. I can only hope, and hope that it's the chip. It's not. How very annoying. Okay, Rob, good luck for the work. Not that you need good luck or anything, but, you know, it's just what we have to say, isn't it? Let's see, that's been pulled to ground. I suspect that's working for the fact that it is in fact dragging it low. $4.8K. That's smidge weird. I suspect it's correct. We'll just slide that resistor across and double check its value. I can't possibly imagine for the life of me any reason for it to not be 100K, but I'm gonna just check anyway. I feel like the real fault is somewhere around that corrosion that we saw on the top side. I feel like all of this is actually going to be fine. It's something messed up top. Either that or the PCH did get damaged with all... What the frickety frick popped? Yeah, as I was saying, with all that damage to the RTC chip, it may have caused issues to the PCH. And of course that's smack on 100K. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? 50. Yep. Basically just proving to myself that there was nothing there in the first place. So we're going to go topside and have a look around again before we dig back into the schematic. Very unlikely we'll ever see a PCH reball here. As far as I can tell, you know, everything's going fine on that chip now. We're getting our 32 kilohertz, we're getting our 3v3. I mean, I know it's not everything for that particular section, but And I mean, apart from it being visually a bit messy, it doesn't really look like we've got any break type scenarios. Like if there was going to be a break scenario, it'd be that, if anything, but that's intact. I wonder if something happened to that gate chip 6101. Yeah, no. Yeah, I saw the TPS had some food on it. The 105 looks perfect. I mean, there's a bit of junk around all sys power good, but we're not getting to that point. And that's just more residue. I mean, I'll give it a clean, but I'm not suspecting it yet. That far pad on the right of the clock chip, it kind of looks like it might not be making an ideal connection, so I'll try and improve that. I'm certainly not looking at the SMC it being fault. Because we are getting MagSafe. Yeah, we're getting 8.6. Yeah, Miles, I'm actually kind of thinking that sometimes it can be an ultrasonic job. A bit of junk there. That's food, not rust. U86 8160, does it look like around 8160? Just give me a second. That's just food. It's frustrating to me because, yeah, the... Hey, U8160, isn't that that's a no stuff. That's a no stuff. Unless you're just referring to... the actual pads or something on there. I'll just tap this down a little bit. That particular pin is 3v3 SR5 sysclock gen blah 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 blah. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but just in case. I mean, it's entirely possible this chip's faulty, but it seems to be behaving correctly. We're getting our 32, we're getting our 3v3. So it's a little hard for me to blame it. Let's give it a bit more of a push down there. Bit of excessive squeezage. God damn it. Now I need assistive heat. I did have an unusual one today where I had a M1 820 2020 and I had no backlight on it, and one of the 0 ohm resistors had gone from 0 ohm to open completely, so it was basically it had become a fuse. I don't see that too often. Hey Raj, good evening. If this doesn't work, then I'm going to close up because it is 12:30. I've got to be up at like 8 in the morning for these electricians. That's going to be fun. Hey Gadgets Clink. Did I get you? Huh. Well, blow me away. It was the chip just needed a bit more of a push down. Yeah. Blink, you bastard. Come on, blink. Yes. Alright, we are fixed. Whew. Well, there you go. Got lucky. It was just a case of I hadn't had proper connections on my RTC chip. Well, there you go. Goes to show you should check your work sometimes, rather than assuming that you're perfect every time. That's going to take me a little while to get used to, though. I'm used to doing everything perfect the first time. Alright, I'm out of here. You take care. I'm going to go off and have a little bit of a late night snack, play half an hour of 7 days, which is probably going to turn into 1 hour, which is about 1 day in 7 days. Anyway, I'm out of here. You take care. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.